Welcome back to the Gentleman's Gazette. In today's video, we're going to be talking about inexpensive or cheap watches that are respected and liked by watch experts. And hey, we would know because we have one here today. So you might have noticed that we have added quite a few timepiece videos to our YouTube channel. And that has been all because of Federico over at Delray Watch. He has been very gracious in sending us watches that we get to wear and shoot video of and take good care of. We do not let Raphael and his knife get near it. So it's my great pleasure to welcome back Federico to the Gentleman's Gazette YouTube channel. Hey Fed, thanks for being here.
My pleasure, Nathan. Thank you so much for having me, and this is a riot. I love shooting these videos.
In today's video, we're going to talk about cheap and inexpensive watches that get a lot of respect from collectors and enthusiasts. And we figured that there was no one else better to talk about this than someone who handles dozens of watches on a day-by-day basis, so we brought Federico along. I have a few watches picked out, and Federico has a few picked out to talk about, but since he is our guest, we'll let Federico take it from the top.
So first, I'm going to start by saying that inexpensive or cheap is relative, particularly in the watch game where things can be thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So a quality watch, a high quality watch, to some people, you know, this may sound inexpensive, to some it is expensive, but it's all relative. I'm going to start with a watch in my personal collection, and that is the Seiko SKX. I absolutely love it. It's my beater watch, recently discontinued, so you can't pick one up new anymore, but you can certainly pick them up used. They've gone up in price though, $350. And here you get an automatic diver style Seiko that in the watch community, people love. Pepsi bezel options, black bezel options. You know, it's sturdy, it's reliable, and you know, there's not much else to say that apart from the fact that if a watch geek sees you wearing one, he'll know exactly what it is.
Yeah, surprisingly, the SKX is not one that I've ever owned, although I really, like them and appreciate them. I will say that there are people in my life that I know of who aren't into watches or who aren't watch people, but if I see them and I see that they have an SKX, it's like, you actually thought about buying that.
No, for sure, because it's just expensive enough that we're a non-watch geek, thinks twice about spending a few $100s on a watch. But as a watch geek, someone who owns watches that are 100 times that price, even more, it's still a pleasure to have on my wrist, and it serves its function beautifully.
Yeah, and I've heard you say this before where you don't have to worry about it, when you take it traveling. It's why it's your travel watch, because if it, I don't know, gets full of water at a pool somewhere, you aren't going to cry about losing a $300, $400 watch.
So while I would obviously be upset to lose $400, whether, that's never fun, but if I get mugged on my travels, or if I lose it at a TSA checkpoint, or if it falls off my wrist while riding a motorcycle in Southeast Asia, it's not the end of the world. It's not, a Moser. And so it's a purpose-made watch for me. It scratches the watch geek itch, but at the same time, it is relatively, and I hate to use this word, but it's true, it's relatively disposable.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think it's sort of, the ones that I've handled, the SKXs, they seem to be sort of that first watch that you kind of get that watch geek itch. You have a rotating bezel that, clicks a little bit, and it feels a lot more higher end than something that you'd buy at a regular old department store.
Yeah, and on top of that, honestly, it's very comfortable. Like it's the bracelet is not well made at all, but because it's so poorly made in the bracelet, it makes it very supple to wear.
So my first pick is a watch that actually our cameraman Chris has, and it's the Seagull 1963 chronograph. Tell me why watch guys like that watch.
So actually, I think that's a fantastic pick. There's multiple itches that this scratches. First, it's a manual wind chronograph, a column wheel chronograph. so something usually found in much higher end watches. Its vintage styling is extremely attractive. And honestly, this movement, which Seagull copied because they bought the machinery from an old Swiss company, originally was in very high-end chronographs. And I think this one, somewhere around $300, and you get a lot for your money. Now, there are a few negatives, I will say. The movement breaks a lot. Not because it's not a good movement, but because it's a very complex movement, and at that price point, you can't expect it to be put together particularly well.
Yeah.
But if you have a functioning Seagull 1963, then you have a very high-end, horologically speaking, watch for a fraction of the price. I mean, a manual wind column wheel chronograph. What's there not to adore?
For our viewers, can you give like 2 or 3 examples of what a column wheel chronograph movement similar to this one would be, like a watch example in the $3,000 to $5,000 range?
$3,000 to $5,000 range for column wheel is almost unheard of. It's usually in the $15,000 to $20,000 range. But a couple of examples are Longines makes a column wheel chronograph, but it's just a column wheel put onto a base 7750 movement. For you guys that don't know what that is, it's like a Chevy small block in the car world. It's a utilitarian, extremely common movement modified with a column wheel. So, you know, that's one in that range. I think Frédéric Constant makes a column wheel as well, but generally column wheel chronograph movements, you're talking Vacheron Constantin, Audemars Piguet, Rolex Daytona, Zenith El Primero. Zenith is probably the most famous, truly high quality column wheel chronograph movement for under $10,000.
So there you have it. If you want to get the experience of owning a manual wind chronograph, especially with one that has some quality components that are similar to higher end watches, our cameraman Chris got one for about $200, but they can go up to $5 or $6. So I think this is also a great option.
So this choice is one watch geeks love. Doesn't necessarily fit in with a lot of the things you guys do here at the Gentleman Gazette, but I'm sure you know what I'm about to say. That is the Casio G-Shock, the ultimate sports watch, on rubber, indestructible, quartz movement, digital display. They go anywhere from $30 to $3,000, depending on what features you get. But if you get like a standard multi-band 6, which is the timing function that uses radio signals to keep the time, essentially, you know, it's a great $100 beater sports watch. I bought one for myself when originally bought it for the gym, but then I realized I don't like wearing a watch to the gym, so now I just wear it when I'm messing around with my car or something. It's the antithesis of an elegant timepiece, but it's durable and it just works. And every watch geek, whether they own a Patek Tourbillon or, you know, a Royal Oak Offshore, they know what a Casio G-Shock is, and they appreciate them.
Yeah, I mean, I have one. It's just a simple gray one, and I use it much the same way that you do. I use it when changing the oil, or I'm moving my home or mowing the lawn. It's got a rubber strap, typically a rubber case as well. It can take a beating. I swear you could almost run over it with the lawnmower and it would be just fine. I take it in the pool with me. I absolutely 100% agree with this. I think even for our viewers who are like, I need to always have a dress watch, I'm a dress watch guy, I think you should allow yourself to enjoy a G-Shock, and I think you'll find that you'll wear it a lot more than you might expect. Okay, so staying in that sort of same realm as the G-Shock, let's go with the Swatch Sistem51. Now, these, you can get them in a multitude of colors, in rubber, in metal, different materials. But this is a watch I think really you can show off your personality. I think for a lot of people, the Swatch Sistem51 is like something they pick up when they're on holiday, or it's their first watch as a kid. So that's another pick that I personally like, and I think it looks really cool. What do you think?
Personally, I love them, and actually you nailed it, because I bought 2 of them, and I bought them at airports. So you're right there. It's the first automatic watch that's built entirely by robots in an assembly line. So not particularly high quality, though fully functional, and not serviceable. So eventually when it does break, there's no way to open the watch. It is a disposable watch, but it is the first automatic watch that is entirely built without the touch of a human hand, which is historical in Swiss watchmaking. Now, maybe it's not the stereotypical high-end watch, but every watch geek knows what a System 51 is, and I guarantee you every watch geek, if they don't own a System 51, they've at least thought about owning one, because it's $100-150, multitude of colors. It does a lot of what the G-Shock does, and it's just a ton of fun, and you get to let your watch geek flag fly without having to break the bank. And you know what? Who says hobbies have to be that expensive?
Yeah, I plan on getting one for my son's first watch. I will also say, if you like to choose, get an automatic watch or like a first nice watch with a whole bunch of color options, this is a better choice than trying to pay 3 or 4x the price of an Omega Moon Swatch.
Here in regards to the Moon Swatch. But now, I picked one specifically for your audience, but I do genuinely believe it's a fantastic watch, and that is the Orient Bambino. It is a dress watch for under $200. Impossible, you say? Absolutely not. It is a Japanese-made watch with an in-house movement, a few dial variations, but I do love that cream dial, in classic dress watch time-only proportion. The only thing I will say, at this price point, you have that faux alligator print strap, which, in all honesty, is garbage. Throw that right away if you buy a Bambino. But put it on a nicer, maybe calf strap, or if you buy an alligator strap, it might cost as much as the watch, but it's worth it because it's very, very handsome, it's high quality, and watch geeks love them, once again, for not a lot of money. You know what? If I was ever in a pickle where, like, I'm running to a wedding, I'm getting dressed, and I realized I forgot my dress watch, and I could, you know, Amazon Prime me an Orient Bambino for the next day, I would be totally proud to wear that to any event.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think in a world where guys, a lot of men think that I'm going to get my first nice watch and they go to Nordstrom and they buy a movement. I think that this is a much better option. It shows that you actually put some thought into it. You didn't just go to the department store and pick something out of the case. It's also much higher quality than a lot of just the Daniel Wellingtons and the cheap fashion brands that are dress watches.
Side note, if you guys ever watch a little watch YouTube and you see these ads, whenever you see a watch brand that cuts out the middleman, do me a favor. Just don't buy it. You are the middleman. You know, ultimately, it's the middleman between you and the garbage can.
Okay, for my final choice, I'm going to pick a watch I think that can fit into most gentlemen's wardrobes from dressed up to dressed down, and that is the Hamilton Khaki. Whether it's the manual wind or the automatic, 38 millimeters, 42 millimeters, maybe with a complication, there's a lot of options here for various gentlemen.
This is the most expensive watch on the list. Starts roughly at, I think, about $300 for the manual wind. Goes up $500-600 to the Khaki King. This is also owned by Swatch Group that owns Breguet, Blancpain, and other very high-end watch brands. It's kind of like your entry-level, nice Swiss mechanical watch. I absolutely love it. I own a Khaki Field Mechanical myself. I love the bead blasted case and the army green dial with the green canvas strap. Obviously, I own much higher quality watches, but this just feels right. It fits my wrist right. It's, you know, I wear it almost like when I want to wear a G-Shock, but I want something mechanical. It's rough, it's tumble, it's vintage inspired. There's very little to not like about this Hamilton, and personally, you know, I think it's a home run in every sense.
Yeah, and I'll say from a style standpoint, if you get one with either a black dial or the silver dial in one of the cases that are not bead blasted, this is a watch that you can wear with that army green strap and wear it with a casual outfit, or you can take this army green strap off and put on a nice leather or a nice suede, and it looks good with a sports jacket or a more casual suit. This is, if you're a young man or you're a man who wants to, who says, I want to get a watch and I really don't know where to start, this is a great starter one because it'll go with a lot of different outfits and it'll really help you sort of go down the rabbit hole that is, watch collecting. So those are our picks. These are 6 affordable watches that watch geeks and watch enthusiasts really respect. What do you guys think about our picks? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there something that we missed? Are we totally off base? Please let us know down in the comments below. Also, remember to stick around for more videos with Federico. Also, make sure to check out his channel, Federico Talks Watches, on YouTube, and go over to delraywatch.com, which is the best place for a watch geek to buy a pre-owned watch. In today's outfit, I'm wearing a combination of a sports jacket and trousers, which is great for the warm weather here in Minneapolis. I'm wearing a blue micro houndstooth sports jacket. This was made to measure for me by Beckett and Rob. My shirt is a Oxford cloth button down and it was made to measure by Proper Cloth. My trousers are in a cream Huddersfield cotton. They were made to measure by the Singapore online brand Calero. Since it's warm out, I'm not wearing socks, but my shoes are the Yanko and Skolix travel loafers. On my wrist, courtesy of delraywatch.com, is this awesome gray dial Omega Seamaster Aquaterra, which is a watch that is underrated no longer. My pocket square is from Fort Belvedere. It is our orange large paisley pocket square. It has light greens and purples, perfect for the warm weather months. If you want to check out this pocket square, some socks, some ties, anything else that you need for these warm weather months, check out the Fort Belvedere shop down in the description below.
Today I'm wearing a sports coat and trouser combination. My sport coat is a linen and cotton mix made to measure by my tailor in Hong Kong. I'm wearing an Oxford cloth white shirt, also made to measure by the same tailor. I'm wearing navy chinos by Brooks Brothers and some shell cordovan Allen Edmonds in my size 10.5 triple E. On my wrist is my H. Moser Aventurine Dial Perpetual Moon, my favorite watch and the hardest watch to get in my collection.